As you enter the city of Palmetto, you'll be greeted by this large seahorse. For some, it may look like just a big piece of artwork, but for others, it serves as a big piece of history. The city of Palmetto is known for its beauty and charm. Located in between St. Petersburg and Bradenton, the small town sits along the Manatee River, offering breathtaking views. As the city grows, local leaders are trying to preserve its history while making improvements to the area, which is exactly why they added this large seahorse to the gateway of the city.
We know we have to progress, but we like to have the history and know the foundation of how we arrived. So I'm very excited about this project.
City Commissioner Tambra Varnador says she and others wanted to add this 22-foot seahorse to this location near the US 41 bridge. She says the large statue is not only eye-catching and unique, it also looks similar to an older one that once sat in this same spot 50 years ago.
We have been working on it for quite some time, and I think it's great that we're kind of having a mascot, if you will, of the city of Palmetto. And the seahorse was a vital part as I was growing up. I remember being a little girl and driving across the little 2-lane green bridge. And, my face would be at the window or out the window back in those days to check it out when I drove by.
I think for those of us about my age, maybe a little bit younger, a little bit older, they just remember having the seahorse there, and of course the gators and all the other things that went with it. But again, it was so huge when you're a little kid. It just stuck out, and you knew you were headed for Palmetto when you were there.
City Commissioner Tamara Cornwell grew up in Palmetto and has fond memories of the old seahorse statue that was also a souvenir shop. She says it was a local landmark in the 50s and 60s, greeting residents and visitors as they drove through town.
That was such a tourist attraction. You wouldn't believe how many people would stop. And we had alligators, and there was monkeys and rattlesnakes.
We had rattlesnakes.
A very special piece of history for Palmetto residents Raymond and Beverly Varnador.
We've been married a little over 60 years, and we met at the Seahorse gift shop in Palmetto.
But unlike this couple's everlasting love, the original seahorse did not last. It was torn down to make room for a new bridge. While many residents were sad to see it go, this couple was especially hurt.
The seahorse, the statue, is a legacy to my parents, Ed and Evelyn Winter, but it's also a heritage, a visible heritage to the city of Palmetto.
Tom Winter's parents owned the original seahorse and souvenir shop. He and his wife Gail were overcome with emotion the first time they saw its replacement.
Many people, thousands over the however many years it was there, have come, and people from all over the country. Really, there was no 301, there was no I-75. You had to come through Palmetto to get points south, like Bradenton, Sarasota, and Tamiami Trail. So people had to pass the seahorse, and hundreds of thousands of gallons of free papaya juice was consumed by the people over the years. Buses were welcomed, and was it a tourist trap? A tourist business, I'll put it that way. But very, very honored to be a part of this history.
Ron Berman is the artist behind the new seahorse.
I'm honestly honored. When you get a project, as an artist, you're like, yeah, okay, what's next? But when the news of just some of the history of this came to my attention, it just every day becomes more and more of an honor to interpret their message.
Using styrofoam, fiberglass, and more, Berman says it took hundreds of hours to complete the large seahorse.
I put a lot of work into the base. That is new as opposed to the old seahorse. The old seahorse was done more in terms of not as a public art piece, but as promotional, retail type piece. And so I wanted to take that and make it more artistic.
Once finished, the work continued. A large crane and a lot of help from the ground moved the massive statue to its final resting place. The new statue sits where the old one was once located.
I'm overwhelmed because I love the old Seahorse. It had different qualities. This one is just absolutely phenomenal. It's just so impressive. I never dreamed that it would be this spectacular.
Palmetto Mayor Shirley Groover Bryant says adding this new Seahorse was a long-time goal.
It fits in with the city's overall theme for redevelopment and revitalization. We're marrying our historical significance of being an agricultural community with our realization that we are also a shoreline community. And so bringing our history into that is just a tremendous value for us. And we wanted the public to be able to share that.
A Seahorse with a big fan club.
So it was one of them things when you drove across the bridge, it was like, back in Palmetto, here's the Seahorse. So.
A Seahorse City Commissioner Jonathan Davis says he hopes everyone enjoys.
I think it's a terrific idea to bring some of the past back to the future for the future generations to see what was there and back when I was a kid. So here's something that we're bringing a little part of history back so they can look at and see.
A piece of history Commissioner Brian Williams thinks was needed in the area.
I think it's just bringing back history that everybody's entitled to, and I think that the new people will learn so much more about the community that they've come to, and hopefully it'll attract others that see the uniqueness of it and come here and settle.
Donna Courtney Simpson is 93 years old. She says she's hoping this Seahorse will give joy to many generations to come.
And I'm just thinking of the children that are going to be so happy and say, what is that, you know?
City leaders say this Seahorse is one of many new projects planned for the area in the future. Reporting in Palmetto, Summer Smith.